Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli, and I this is a bummer one kind of for me. I have good memories of this person, but I lost a friend about a week ago, a friend in the comedy world, a friend who was really good to me. We weren't super tight friends, but we definitely I would consider us friends, and maybe even in a place that we may have started a friendship, a true friendship. He was really good to me. His name's Allan Goodwin, and he was a comic and just a good guy. And he died, I believe it was last Saturday or Sunday, so about a week ago. I will be going to a memorial for him in a week at a comedy club down in Colorado Springs called Looney's, and I'm sure there will be a whole bunch of comics there to celebrate his life and the kind of man he was. Every man has flaws, but Alan was a good guy overall. Here's what happened. This is Alan was, you know, he wasn't the healthiest guy, but he wasn't the unhealthiest guy. So it seemed like, he should have been like the rest of us, probably lived into his 80s or something, right? And he ended up having a cardiac episode, as they call it. His wife Trish, who's a wonderful woman, walked in on him or found him and tried to revive him, and the EMTs tried to revive him, and he died. And I just want to talk about my brief friendship with him for the last couple of years, because it was nice. It's Louis C.K. once did a joke about making friends in your 40s and 50s and how lame it feels. It's just like, you don't want to go up to a guy and go, "Do you want to be my friend?" Because it's weird. Yeah, it's hard for friendships to be created and blossom uh, in a genuine way. It's weird. And so luckily Alan and I shared comedy, and that's how we became friends. He took a chance on me to open for him in, of all places on this planet, Rexburg, Idaho. Now, those of you who don't know Rexburg, Idaho, I've probably talked about it on here maybe a year or so ago. We went nearly a year and a half ago. It was December, I think, 8th. It was early December of 2022. And it was the first real, like, road gig that I'd been on with another comic. I did small ones like up to Cheyenne with David Testrout and um, little ones like that. But this was the first one where I got to be in a car with a guy I don't really know that well for 11 hours each way. And Rexburg, Idaho is 97% Mormon. And they are the reddest voting town of over 20,000 people, I believe. So they're of any city in the country. Um, so it's a dry county. There's no alcohol because it's almost all Mormon. BYU, Idaho is up there. The town kind of cleans out in the summer when the students leave. The town, I think, goes from 40,000 people down to like 25,000 people when school's out. But yeah, Brigham Young University of Idaho is up there. And so it was a very, very white, conservative, interesting place, to say the least. The people are all very nice, I thought. When we went up there, we had a great time. But those 22, 23 hours of driving with Alan, I got to know the guy. And he was great guy. We shared a lot of laughs. We listened to podcasts. We talked about, all of our liberal stuff, like how is Trump president, and just talking about the horrible things he had done over the 4 years while he was president. We talked about a lot of stuff, and we talked about his family, and we talked about his son and his daughter, and some regrets he had there, and some wonderful things that were going really well in that area. And I was telling him about my kids and some of the regrets I had as a father and a parent, and some of the things, we talked a lot. You get deep. You talk about things you've done right and done wrong in this life. He talked a lot about his very abusive stepfather when he was a kid, and opened up about that. And I also had some issues with my stepdad and dad, and it was just a great. You go all over the map. You spend 11 hours or 22, 23, like I said, total with a person. You get to know him pretty well. And, then that's the thing I found out. And I did a pretty good job up there. I had to do 30 minutes. I had to open 30 minutes. I had to be clean. I wasn't as clean as they wanted me to be, apparently, but we had to be clean. And I had to do 30, and Alan did 60. And Alan crushed as always. But my favorite part of the whole trip, we stayed in a nice little hotel. We each got our own room. If they treat you pretty well when they have professional. Now, Alan's a pro, me, not so much. But, they treat you pretty well when you do a show up there. Those types of shows, they had a little theater. It was nice. It's like a multi-use theater. They do plays there, movies, comedy shows. So we check in. We get there pretty early. I think the show's at 7, and we're there like 3 or 4, because Alan picked me up like 4:30 in the morning. But, we had to. We needed the 11 hours to get there. Anyway, we get there. Alan's like, I thought of a joke on the way, and let me know what you think of it. And he tells me this joke, and I liked it. And I was like, man, but I know it may be a risky joke here in Rexburg, Idaho, with 97% Mormons. He's like, yeah, but I think I'll tell it anyway. And so he tells it. And so I finished my 30 minutes. I have a pretty good set, not a killer set, but a good set. And he goes up and he opens with this joke, and he yells out, he goes, where are my sisters at? And a bunch of women scream out. He goes, where are my wives at? And a bunch of women scream out. He goes, where are my sister wives at? Fucking dead silence. And it was one of my favorite moments in comedy ever, because you love to see your friends succeed, but it's also equally, I don't want to say satisfying, but it's very, very funny when your friends fail on stage. Of course, the next 59 minutes went fine. He jumped that hurdle, and he's a pro, and he's been doing it 30 years. So he crushed the remaining 59 minutes. At the end of the night, he sold a ton of merch. They loved him. And but that was really funny. And because I remember, as in their version of the green room, was almost like there's like a staircase back from the stage. You're kind of in a basement, but it was nice. I mean, there's a couch. It's fine. They gave us fruit and water. But I go down there, and he tells that joke, and I am howling, like I say, for 2 reasons. One, because I think the joke's funny, and 2, because he is eating shit for those few seconds on stage. But he recovered. And the ride back was great. We saw a lot of beautiful country through southern Idaho and, southwestern or northwestern Wyoming until we got back down to I-80. However, we got back to Denver, I don't remember. It was beautiful country out there. In winter, it's beautiful. But it was nice, and I got to know him. He was always kind to me, and I had actually booked him for a show a whole year out. My friend Joya is going to do a show for the FAA, Women in Aviation, next year, and I had reached out to Alan. He was willing to work that show in a year, so now I got to find another headliner. I will, and that's not the point of this video. It's just a kind of a footnote to the story and the hole that will be left in the comedy community, because this was a good guy who told funny jokes. I also want to address, in the last couple of minutes I got here, my 10 minutes, that us as comics and entertainers need to stop shitting on each other. Alan, a week or so, I think, before he died, put out a post, and I honestly don't remember it. It was controversial. I think it was somewhat, and it reminded me of something that happened to me back in 2017, where I said some words, and I thought it was going to turn into an argument or debate about context in comedy and what words you can use or not use in comedy. And instead it turned to people just shitting on me and trying to ostracize me from the community. And the same happened to Alan. And it was ugly. And a lot of people did shitty things. And any comic watching this, any entertainer watching, any fucking human being watching this, don't fucking do that, okay? If you have a disagreement, disagree about it. But just to go out and name call and make people feel shitty, it's terrible. And when I talked to Trish the other night, or we went back and forth via text, via messenger. She thought that one particular person who was really harsh on him online may have stressed him out and may have had something to do with this cardiac episode and his death. And I won't say the person's name, although it's tempting to, because he did what he did. But it is shitty when just people will just take a popular bandwagon thing, and especially in the entertainment community, go as liberal as possible, which I am. That's the irony often, is they go after the most liberal guys, but maybe an older guy like me or Alan. Alan's like 2 years older than me. I think he's 58. And they will drive home that point and try to make you look like you're some sort of shitty right-wing Trump-loving asshole when you're not. Just because, hey, maybe I feel like I can say maybe the N-word or the F-word or the C-word or whatever word I want to use in my act. And then they take that and go, well, you must believe this because you feel like you can say that on stage. It's not true. Talk to the person, get to understand them, and don't be one of these assholes that think you can climb up by stepping on other people, because that's not how it works. Entertainment rarely works that way, even to this day. You got to show you got some merit, you got to show you got some talent, and you got to go earn it. So don't do that. But I don't want to talk about that other person. I want to talk about Allan. I'll finish up here, maybe go over a little because I'm closing in on 10 minutes. Like I said, good guy, good comic, a lot of fun. But I think one of the last things he told me, and I remember he said this on stage, my last show out in Elbert, I had him headline because he's good. Like I said, he's been doing it 30 years. He's really good at it. And unfortunately, that was going to be our last show because I just wasn't drawing people in for comedy there. It just wasn't happening. We had a minimal crowd, and Allan was really getting upset with this one guy who was just like this the whole time and facing away from the stage and just frankly being kind of a prick. I mean, he wasn't heckling, but it's like, here's the thing about comedy, in any entertainment. If you want to go have a bad time, you can go have a bad time. I can't force you to laugh. If you want to sit like this and I have my best material, or a challenge is like, hey, this guy wins $50 if he doesn't laugh, you can easily do that. Sometimes you gotta go out and try to have a good time. If you're not gonna have a good time, at least go to the corner, right? Don't be right in the fucking view of everyone else, just being shitty and angry and bitter. And Allan had me move the microphone up so he could get closer to the people that cared. This guy left right before he got on anyway. But Allan, that was the type of person Allan was like, fuck this guy. I'm going to speak to the people that are here and are listening and I can have a good time with. And at the end of my set, or end of his set, he called me a saint. And that meant a lot. I'm definitely not a saint. But it was so kind of him to say, hey, here's a guy that's tried to enjoy shows. Here's a guy I know. Here's a guy that I'm at very least friendly with. Like I say, I considered us fringe friends, for lack of a better term, a good guy. But he said kind things about me. I have nothing but kind words for him. Like I said, I got to learn a lot about him. Every man has complex things that have gone on in his life that have hurt him. And he bounced back from those things to become a good guy and a good comic. And I'm going to miss him. Miss him a lot. And I'll be there at his memorial in a week down at Looney's. I hope I can tell the story. If I don't know how much stage time we're gonna get, I don't want to. That's not what it's about. But I would like to tell that story about Rexburg and the joke that plots, because it's funny and it's sweet and it's vulnerable and it's beautiful, just like he was. Anyway, there's my time, which is a lot, but Allan deserved way more than 12 and a half minutes. But that's all I got for today. Be kind to the people in your life. Be kind to the people that aren't in your life. Just be kind. When you move forward with love, everything else will fall into place. I truly believe that. I think Allan believed that. And his wife, Trish, who survives him and is a wonderful person, I think she also believes that. And that's about it. You guys have a great rest of the day, rest of the weekend, rest of whatever you're having. Lead with love. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.